You weren't born a hero. You were born screaming on a volcanic death world where the air occasionally tries to murder you. Nocturne, where pleasant weather means only 3 earthquakes today. Your childhood was simple. Learn to forge metal, don't die in a lava flow, maybe avoid the alien slavers, standard stuff. Then, at 6 years old, the sky opened. Not metaphorically, the Drukhari arrived, space elves with a concerning enthusiasm for slave-taking and recreational torture. They hit easy and fast. Your city didn't stand a chance. People screaming, buildings burning, your neighbor getting dragged toward a ship. You thought, I'm really gonna die before GTA 6. Then, crash! A drop pod. 5 salamanders stepped out. Green ceramite and coordinated violence. The sergeant grabbed a Drukhari by the throat, crushed his windpipe, then pulled a civilian from a burning building. Same hand. Gentle with humans. Delete mode for Xenos, aka anything non-human. 2 settings only. When it ended, he looked at you. Red eyes behind his skull helmet. You thought, I want his job. That's called foreshadowing. He was a hero, someone who mattered, someone people looked at with awe. You wanted to be that, to save people like he just saved you. Turns out, they'd been watching. An apothecary. The chapter's medical guy had been screening kids for years, checking genetics, seeing who might survive what comes next. A chaplain, basically a warrior priest who makes sure you don't go insane, observed the forges, watching who had patience, who hadn't quit. 2 years later, the sergeant knocked, asks your parents if you could apprentice. They said yes, because when an 8-foot tank asks to borrow your child, you don't argue. The forge became your life. Your master didn't talk much. When he did, it sounded like a self-help book. Eventually, he taught you the Promethean Creed, the Salamander's philosophy. Self-reliance, solve your own problems. Purification through fire, trials make you stronger. Unyielding, never retreat. That last one was cultural and genetic. Kinda both. The Salamander's gene seed, the biological blueprint that makes them superhuman, didn't make them stubborn. Nocturne did that. The philosophy did that. Some salamanders took unyielding too literally. Some salamanders, your brothers, refused to retreat even when it was tactically smart. Died holding ground because their pride wouldn't let them back down. Your master channeled his inner master Oogway again. We're forged to endure. Sometimes the metal doesn't bend, it breaks. That's the price. You figured the price was worth it. Then your master got deployed. 3 brothers left, 2 came back. A brander priest pressed glowing iron to your master's chest. Honor scars. Marks of, my friend is dead and this burn is all I have left. Later, at the cremation, his squad thrust their arms into the flames. Sharing the heat, sharing the pain. Brotherhood burns. Your master opened the Tome of Fire, the chapter's philosophical text, and read while you looked at the ashes. At the empty space in the formation. And thought, oh, this job has a mortality rate. Later, he told you why the chapter was small. Why every loss hurt. Isvan V, a betrayal during the Horus Heresy, a galaxy-wide civil war 10,000 years ago. The 18th Legion walked into a trap. 83,000 salamanders. Second wave legions turned their guns on the first, 98% casualties. At 12, your master handed you a data slate. The Pantheon Council approved you. The council, chapter leadership, had been watching your progress. Gene seed screening came back clean. You didn't quit, and you helped that other kid who burned himself. Self-reliance doesn't mean selfishness. It means solving problems. That's salamander thinking. Your family gathered that night. Yeah, in the story, you don't get the orphan sob story. They celebrated. Your sister was still hesitant, asked if you're sure about this. You thought about that sergeant. You wanted to come back as someone who saved people. A hero. You didn't yet know what that would cost. Next morning, you left for Prometheus, the moon where the chapter fortress sits. Your master didn't say goodbye, just returned to his forge and started heating coals. Because that's what salamanders do. They endure, they work, and they don't do feelings before 10 a.m. Prometheus was a volcano with a filing system. You arrived with 30 other aspirants. Week 1, 5 disappeared. Administratively relocated, they said. You didn't ask questions. The surgery started immediately. No consent forms, just lie down, we're installing a second heart, because one heart is for people with low expectations. You wake up feeling like your chest was having an identity crisis. Then they kept going. Bone reinforcement, muscle weaving, glands with unpronounceable names. Like someone kept adding DLCs to your body without asking. Between surgeries, they ran combat drills. You were slower than the others. The apothecary explained, Salamander's gene seed does that. Trade-off for benefits, enhanced heat resistance, radiation tolerance, faster healing. You also get fire sight, infrared vision linked to your armor for tactical heat pulse communication. Very useful. Also disorienting when everyone looks like a thermal camera filter. The chaplain pointed at a forge and told you to make a blade. No protective gear, channeling Vulcan's trial. Vulcan was your Primarch, the Salamander's genetic father and greatest blacksmith. The forge was surface of a star hot. You swung the hammer, hours passed, the blade took shape. Ugly, crooked, butter knife with ambition, but it was something. The chaplain inspected it and handed it back. Do better. Thanks, Dad. Then the mutation started. Your skin darkened over the years, gradually, as the gene seed interacted with Nocturne's radiation. Coal black. Every salamander gets it. You caught your reflection and didn't recognize yourself. One aspirant screamed about being a monster. They dragged him away. You looked at your reflection again, coal black skin, red eyes glowing like warnings, monster face. But monsters can be heroes if they save people, right? You had to believe that, because there was no going back. The chaplain opened the Tomb of Fire again, because motivational quotes have been working so well so far. Pain is the hammer, you are the metal. You wanted to believe that, mostly you just wanted to stop itching. The real test came during the time of trial, an orbital event. Every 15 years, Prometheus swings too close to Nocturne. Gravity gets bad ideas, volcanoes erupt simultaneously, tectonic plates file for divorce. They handed you a knife and a canteen. Survived 2 weeks, alone. 3 days in, you found another aspirant. Collapsed, dying. The trial was solo, but you stopped, found safer ground, dragged him to shelter, shared your water. Later, they tested the unyielding, hold a position for 1 hour. At 59 minutes, the chaplain ordered retreat. You didn't move, couldn't. You held the full hour, collapsed after. That was stupid, but also very salamander. Years blurred. By 18, your body was unrecognizable. Too big, too strong, too other. But still you. Probably. The final trial, the Fire Drake hunt, solo. Come back with a hide or don't come back. You descended into the lava tubes, found another aspirant's body. Guess he felt the hunt. You kept moving. The Drake found you first. Massive, scaled, opinions. The fight was desperate. You drove the knife into its throat. It nearly killed you, but it died first. You skinned it. But no, you weren't done yet. The chaplain handed you tools. Forge a shield from the bones and scales, 6 hours. A timed craftsmanship test after nearly dying. Very reasonable. You worked through exhaustion. Drake bones as frame, scales for plating. The shield wasn't perfect, but it was yours. The chaplain said acceptable, high praise. The Brander priest pressed glowing iron to your chest, your first honor scar. You felt the weight. A forge master presented you with a Drake scale cloak, heavy and fireproof. You received your power armor. You were now a salamander. They ship you out immediately. Your first deployment was disaster relief. Not combat, not glory, cleanup duty. A hive city collapsed, earthquake, poor architecture. You arrived as a scout with a bolter and 0 training in urban search and rescue. The city was rubble. Your fire sight, that infrared vision the gene seed gave you, lit up everywhere. Heat signatures, people trapped, hoping someone cares. Surprise! You do. You pulled 17 people out that day. A woman screamed at your appearance. Black skin, red eyes, 8 feet of what the fresh hell is this? But once the fear wore off, she was fine. Saving her kid helped a lot with it too. After that deployment, they moved you up. Full battle, brother. 3rd company, real armor, real weapons, real expectations. Translation? Now you get to fight, not just watch. When you returned to Nocturne, your family celebrated. Awkward. You didn't fit through the doorway anymore. Your sister tried hugging you, like hugging a ceramite statue. She said you'd changed. Understatement of the millennium. Your sister showed you pictures. She had a boyfriend now, talking about moving in together, future plans, normal things. You tried to be happy for her, but you didn't fit in their conversations anymore. She talked about jobs and rent. You talked about pulling people from rubble. She talked about Sunday morning walks, and you talked about kill count competitions. The conversation died. You left early. She gets to have a future because you don't. Fair trade. Has to be. 2nd deployment, Armageddon. 3rd war for that cursed rock. Orcs everywhere, continent-sized wog, the usual. Before departure, the Brander priest pressed hot iron to your shoulder, ritual preparation invoking Vulcan's strength. You didn't flinch. Pain is just feedback now. Then, your first warp jump. The warp, that nightmare dimension ships travel through where physics goes to die. They activate the Geller field, basically a please don't let demons eat our souls force field. It flickered. The navigator, the mutant whose third eye steers ships through literal hell, started sweating. Not a good sign. Ship time, 3 days. Real space, 5 weeks. Time is now a suggestion, and you're not getting overtime. You fought alongside the Marines' Malevolent. Nice guys, if nice means civilian casualties are a feature, not a bug. Their captain suggested orbital bombardment on refugee zones swarmed by Xenos. Apparently acceptable losses. Your captain, Tushan himself, yes, the chapter master, is personally leading this one because Armageddon is that bad. Responded clearly, one shell near civilians, Salamanders returned fire on them. The bombardment didn't happen. Tushan's body language said, "Try me." They didn't. You held the evacuation route, lost 2 brothers doing it, the Malevolent punched through faster, left thousands of corpses, called it efficiency. At the cremation, your squad thrust arms into the pyre flames. Your turn. You pushed in, held it there, the pain was overwhelming. You ignored it. Brotherhood burns, literally. Between deployments, you returned to Nocturne. Your sister was married now, showed you wedding photos. Her husband was normal, soft hands, nervous around you. She said she'd name her first kid after you. You nodded, didn't know what to say. You watched them hold hands, be human together. You were a weapon. Weapons don't get that. But weapons protect people who do. That's the trade. Third deployment, a year later, Drukhari hit a mining colony in the Ghoul Stars. Raider slave-taking operation. Extended warp travel, weeks aboard, months outside. Time dilation was becoming routine. Horrifying routine, but routine. By the time you arrive, they've been at it for days. Torture pens everywhere. Civilians still alive. Barely. With refugees, you're gentle. With Drukhari, deletion protocol. Bolt rounds through spines, flamers on runners. They screamed, you didn't stop. These were the ones who took your neighbor. Yes, even the 6-year-old hiding in the corner. Payback was methodical and involved creative uses of fire. Your captain gave the order, burned their ships, cut off escape. Casualties, everyone aboard, including captives. You raised the multi-melta. Fired. The ship went up. You heard the screaming through the Vox, through the hull, through your soul. Mission success, thousands saved. Cost, hundreds already captured. The math checked out. Your conscience didn't. You went to the chapel, opened the Tomb of Fire, found a passage on necessary sacrifice. Didn't help. Turns out scripture is bad at justifying burning people alive. The chaplain found you staring at the wall and dropped another crumb. We carried the weight so others don't have to. Technically correct, the worst kind of correct. Your sister gets to have grandkids someday because you burned those ships. Those civilians go home to families, you go back to war. That's the cost, that's the choice. You made it, they didn't. Later, the brand of priest applied honor brands marks a victory. This scar felt heavier. Now, you knew exactly what it cost. Welcome to being a veteran, where every achievement comes with trauma. Decades blur, compliance campaigns, Xenos purges, the usual. One deployment on some forge world you'll never remember the name of, your squad leader takes a plasma bolt defending a refugee convoy. You take command, temporary. Make the calls, lose 1 brother, save 300. They make it permanent. Veteran Sergeant. Translation, now you sign the death certificates. Major campaign, multi-chapter deployment. Extended warp travel through routes getting worse. The Navigator warns the warp's deteriorating. They call it the Great Rift. A galaxy-spanning warp storm that tore reality in half. Right now, you just know the Geller feels struggling and things keep looking in. Ship time, 4 years. Real space, 60 years. The mission, evacuate an agri-world before a Chaos Warband reaches it. Standard extraction. Except, intelligence was wrong. The enemy's already there. Your company's cut off in the capital city with refugees. Thousands. No way out except through them. 7-day siege. Day 5, your best friend takes a las cannon blast meant for refugees. Steps in front, on purpose. Last words? Into the fires of battle, unto the anvil of war. Very poetic, very dead, but you gave the order that put him there, and have no time to dwell on that. Relief arrives, 14 brothers lost, 4,000 civilians saved. Victory, allegedly. You return to Nocturne. Decades passed outside. Your sister, gray-haired now, hugs you. Says you look the same. You feel ancient. Her grandchildren stared at you, scared and awed in equal measure. Your sister told them about you, the hero uncle who saves people. Different paths, different costs. She got to grow old, you got to make sure she could. You tell yourself that's worth it. So you force yourself up and go back. You've accepted the weight, ready to keep going. 2 more centuries of exactly that, more deployments than you can count. Eventually, Tushan summons you, personal audience, 400 years served, scars beyond counting, the Pantheon Council agrees, Fire Drake material, First Company elite, based on Prometheus now, Tushan's honor guard, protect the chapter master, advise when asked, look intimidating. Facial brands mark centuries of service. Tushan assigns you to assist the Forge Father in hunting the Spear of Vulcan, one of 9 relics hidden before the Primarch Vulcan vanished. Prophecy says recover all 9, and Vulcan will return. He's a perpetual, so dying and coming back isn't weird. You track it for 3 years, find it in a Chaos Vault, kill 17 heretics, return the Spear to the Reliquary, 1 recovered, 8 to go. Before your next deployment, the Brander Priest brands you again. By now you've lost count of the scars. The mission standard: extract civilians from a hive under Chaos Assault. Cultists, demons, the usual. Evacuation's nearly done, then the Vox relays information. Bridge overrun, 3,000 refugees cut off. You're closest, you're in Terminator armor, not fast, but very durable. You reach the bridge, the scene's bad, swarm pouring in from both sides, not metaphorical, actual swarm. Mutated horrors spilling from the hive like the world itself's melting. Your brothers are already forming a firing line, but it's not enough. The civilians won't make it across in time. The only way to save them is to destroy the bridge. Problem? You're still standing on it. You order everyone off, refugees run across. Thousands. Last one's a kid, maybe 6 years old, looks back through the smoke. You see that look. Same one you had in Hesiod. You give him a thumbs up, like that sergeant gave you, the kid nods, runs. You detonate the support beam. The bridge crumbles, you fall with it. Long way down, enough time to think. That kid's face, your sister's grandchildren, thousands of strangers. You became what you wanted to be. Impact. Bones shatter. Armor splits. Still breathing. Barely. They find you hours later, half buried in slag. The apothecary's face says it all. Hours later, Tushan presides over your funeral. The lava rite. Full honors. They carry you to the Magna Flow in shattered armor, Drake scale cloak still attached, held together by spite and stitching. You can't move, can't speak, but you're still here, watching through failing firesight as they position you over Nocturne's heart. The heat hits even through broken ceramite. Overwhelming, familiar, you've been burning your whole life. This is just the last time. They lower you in, your armor glows, melts. You feel the chapter watching. Young salamanders will carry the fire after you. Metal to metal, fire to fire, Nocturne reclaims what it made. And you think, as flames take you and consciousness fades, that kid will remember just like you remembered. The flame passes on, into the fires of battle, unto the anvil of war. And also into therapy, except therapy doesn't exist yet, so mostly just fire.